Hey there, how are you doing? My name is Angel and I like all things that are mysterious, and currently I am on 18th Avenue in Kishwaukee, and I am standing across the street from this big old factory right here because I do believe that this factory is where the story begins. So I don't think anybody lives in this house that I'm standing outside of, but I do know that the building behind me is empty and it has a red X on it as well. So this is the building that I am talking about, because I do not see any other factories around here that's that big. So I do know that this story talks about a factory. I think this one is condemned. I see broken windows. I see a red X. That's notoriously indicative of being torn down here in Rockford. So there's that. Anyways, the reason that we are here today is because, you know, we talked about the story of what happened with me at Walmart, and then we talked about the story of what happened a couple days after that horrific thing. We had the stabbing in Walmart, and then the guy that went around and broke in people's houses and killed 4 people. And then we also talked about the Belvidere 1967 tornado, because I found that story on the bottom of an article talking about Jason Jenkins, the kid that got stabbed and killed at Walmart. So that is bringing us to here. So since we were on a tornado kick, I have a tornado story that I would like to share that actually happened here in Rockford. So this story is called Tornado 1928, and this story comes from the book Murder and Mayhem by Kathy Crisall. Murder and Mayhem in Rockford, Illinois by Kathy Crisall. And let's just get into the story. It says, the tornado that touched down on Friday, September 14th, 1928, came in like a roaring train, leaving a path of destruction across Rockford. First, it touched down at the Rockford Chair and Furniture Company on the southwest side at the intersection of Peoples Avenue and Kishwaukee Street, destroying the building and killing 6 men. The funnel went back up and damaged poles and trees until it touched the earth again at 18th Avenue and H Street, which is where we're going to go next because it is extremely busy here. But I do believe that this is the old Rockford Chair and Furniture building. So this building right here. So let's go to the next location, shall we? So we are currently at 18th Avenue and 8th Street. So it says that the funnel went back up and damaged poles and trees until it touched the earth again at 18th Avenue and 8th Street, where the Mechanic Machine Company suffered broken windows. So we just talked about them, the Mechanic Machine Company, because remember I wasn't able to, it doesn't exist no more, but I found like the picture or whatever, the stuff that they used to make there. So 18th Avenue and 8th Street is actually behind me. It's very loud everywhere today here in Rockford. I don't understand. I think it's because it's nice. It's like, what is it, 70. So it's 70 today. So anyways, the 20 girls who worked at the plant that day were cut from the flying glass but were otherwise unhurt. The last section heavily hit was the Alcohol Tool Company, which doesn't exist no more. I looked for that one too. It says the National Chair Company, which is the building I believe that we started at, and the surrounding neighborhood. So like this whole area right here was just wiped away, is what the story is telling us. So this was all leveled over here. All these houses and shit are new. They're not from before 1920 is what I'm gathering from the story. So anyways, let's see, in the surrounding neighborhood where houses were wiped from their foundations. So it was on 18th Avenue, which we currently are on 18th Avenue in front of the clock building. That's what I always call this building here, is the clock building. But it says it was on 18th Avenue right here that the 3-story Union Furniture Company was destroyed. So is this the old Union Furniture store? Because this is like a block long building right here. So, and honest to God, like it really is like a 3-story like building, and it is literally a block long. Like, I'd hate to get out. There's a lot of businesses over here, but it goes all the way down to the fucking end of the block. So it's a block long factory right here. And I don't know what it is now. I honestly, even, it's bright as fuck out there. After this, I'm probably never going to talk about this building again because I've never talked about it before. It's not really being talked about now, but I refer to this building as the clock building. And it used to have a temp service in here, and I used to come here a long time ago. I don't remember what the fuck it was called. Was that First? No, maybe it was First. I don't remember what it was. But anyways, doesn't matter. It's been gone for many, many years. Let's see. It was on 18th Avenue right here that the 3-story Union Furniture Company was destroyed. On the same corner, a little neighborhood grocery store owned by C.Y. Is that Kai? We're going to say Kai. Johnson and his wife was spun around several times and finally swept off its foundation, which that obviously doesn't exist no more. We huddled behind the counter while the roaring noise was going on and the wooden benches flew over our heads, said the Johnsons, who escaped with just a few scratches. Along 15th Avenue, so we're gonna go take another little field trip to 15th Avenue. Maybe it won't be so busy and it'll be a lot quieter and I can get out of my car. Be nice. All right, I'll see you in the next location. So I used to live over here with a friend of mine. I didn't realize, apparently it just didn't click in my head or something, but 18th Avenue and 15th Street is where I used to stay at with a friend of mine a long time ago. And we actually lived in the second white house right over there on the other side of the street right here. So the street's 15th Avenue, or 15th Street, sorry. So anyways, the story brought us here. Okay, so it's just weird that I stayed here for a long time when I was like 16, 17. And we stayed in that white house. Her dad no longer lives there or whatever, but I had a lot of fun living in that house with her. It's kind of ironic that it brought me here. So, anyways, let's get back to the story. So it says, along 15th Avenue, 7 houses and their garages were knocked down. Wow, I just watched that dumbass run that stop sign right there. Wow. Anyways, she was too busy paying attention to what the fuck I was doing, which is none of her business. So anyways, along 15th Avenue, 7 houses and their garages were knocked down. The northeast corner of the National Chair Factory was completely demolished as the tornado's devastation continued. Houses at the top of the hill of the Rock View neighborhood were untouched, but the hollow to the north was demolished. 19 houses on 19th Avenue and 9th Street were destroyed in the final fury of the twister. So we didn't drive there. I kind of want to stick here. I'm reminiscing a lot because I'm here and I spent so much time here when I was a kid and shit. So anyways, it says, a miracle took place in a house on 18th Avenue that belonged to the Ebart family. Little 2.5-year-old Donald was sleeping in his crib when the tornado tore its way through the neighborhood. The wind uprooted a huge tree that stood next to the house and slammed it down on the roof. It knocked the chimney and the wall right down on Donald in the rear bedroom. Miss Ebart was in the basement with her daughter, and Mr. Ebart was sleeping in another bedroom of the house. Mr. Ebart was the first to reach the boy, and Miss Ebart entered the room to find her husband tossing bricks, branches, and boards off their smallest child. The father was terrified when he first saw his son's face covered in blood, but he realized soon that the boy, well cut, was not seriously hurt. The family stood in the wreckage of their home and realized how fortunate they were. The city was also grateful that even though the tornado came within a half a block of one school and very close to two others, the thousands of children who attended the schools were unhurt. Brown, Turner, and especially Hallstrom school students and their families were feeling blessed. A mere half block down from Hallstrom School was a scene of terrible devastation. Houses... Oh, shit. Oh, he nailed that. Good job, my friend. I didn't even have to move. He nailed that fucking... I can't believe it. Anyways, I don't know if you guys seen any of that or not, but I just... Wow. That was a nice turn by that semi. I'm impressed. I thought I was gonna have to back up. It's like, shit, I'm parked back far enough. But anyways, oh, here comes another semi behind me, so there'll be something you guys see here in a second. Another semi. Oh, nope, he's gonna turn behind me. Anyways, it's very busy over here. So I don't remember where I left off at. Oh, especially Hallstrom school students and their families were feeling blessed. A mere half block down from Hallstrom School was a scene of terrible devastation. It's so loud over here. And I don't remember it being this loud and busy, but honestly, it's been 30 years. No. It can't be right. 20 years? 20 some years? Anyways, the hell is that noise? It must be one of these factories over here. It's really weird. It got really loud. Houses all around the school had their roofs torn off and their windows completely blown out. Furniture was deposited in the streets and trees were blown over. The 400 students who attended Hallstrom were all kept safely inside the building. Tony Martin Koss, 50, was found dead in a chicken coop on a farm on Harrison Avenue, 4 blocks west of Kishwaukee. He was from Spring Valley and was cleaning up the chicken and pigeon yard at a neighbor's home. Tony was busy working between 2 buildings and did not notice the tornado approaching. The wind slammed the poor man between the 2 buildings before moving on to the chair factory B, where it killed 8 more men. And on that note, we're gonna go to a different spot because, wow, it's fucking busy over here and I'm afraid somebody's gonna fucking hit me. And if somebody hits me, it's gonna go down. Yeah, let's move. So, we are currently on Woodruff and 18th Avenue, so that's 18th Avenue. And then this road where my car is parked is Woodruff. So there's railroad tracks here. But then I seen that there's another set of railroad tracks. I don't think you guys are going to be able to see it because I can't zoom in with the fucking GoPro. Only downfall. But anyways, we ended over there, a couple blocks down on 18th Avenue. But I figured this would be an appropriate place to end this video, since it's been so busy everywhere else I've been at, that I would find somewhere quiet in this area to close at, so we can get this story done, right? That's what we do. So let's finish this story, shall we? I'm gonna get off the railroad tracks though, so I can wander. It's too bad I didn't bring no buckets and shit. They have all kinds of scrap metal over here. Anyways, I'm gonna wander over here so I can wander while I finish this story. It says, the wind slammed the poor man between the 2 buildings before moving on to the chair factory B, where it killed 8 more men. So George Palmer, employed at the Madison Machine Works, was one of the very first men to reach the destroyed chair factory B. He was stunned by the devastation, but hurriedly grabbed an axe and started to chop his way into the building. So I just want to, scene, different change of scenery. Anyways, it's getting intense. George Palmer, employed at the Madison Machine Works, was one of the very first men to reach the destroyed chair factory B. He was stunned by the devastation, but hurriedly grabbed an axe and started to chop his way into the building. Oh, I already read that. He was able to bring 3 men out. That was really weird. I bet you guys didn't hear that either. Now that I got that foam cover for the GoPro, you guys won't get the wind, but you guys probably didn't hear that either. He was able to bring 3 men out before others came to help. The first wave of responders was firemen and policemen who walked through the destroyed building, calling out for some sign of where the survivors might be. Their calls went unanswered. They attempted to start removing the debris, but it was too heavy. O.W. Johnson worked as the superintendent of the Chair Factory B and was buried in the debris. Almost died in a pothole. See, this walking thing might not be so fucking safe because I almost tripped there. Anyways, let's go back to my car so I don't die. I'm learning. I can't walk and talk and read at the same time. I mean, I can walk and talk, but walk, talk, and read, can't do that. So, let's go back to the car. All 6 of the bodies were found near the elevator shaft, close to the heavy water tank, which plunged from the roof through the crumbling floors, crushing the men and causing their deaths. All of the men were working in the finishing department on the 2nd floor when the tornado struck. John Brunsky, 45 years old, and George Fagerberg, 51 years old, were the 2 other victims in the plant. Other men working at the Chair Factory B were up on the 4th floor when they heard yelling that a cyclone was approaching the building. The group started to run down the stairs when the funnel hit the building, right in the area where they were. The men were all piled on top of one another and everything was completely dark. They were trapped for several hours before being pulled from the debris. The Union Furniture Company, remember that one doesn't exist anymore. Not as that anyways. East End was demolished, which is partly why it's not there no more, because it was pretty much demolished, adding to the city's death toll. Swan Swenson, oh, he's got a tongue twister name. Swan Swenson, 40 years old, and Axel Algren, 43 years old, were found beneath the wreckage of the water tank. Algren's body was carried all the way down through the building by the water tank and buried under tons of debris. The men trying to rescue him had to cut their way through the shattered timbers of several floors. 17-year-old Virgil Kornmesser, 16-year-old Everett Kornmesser, and 14-year-old Bernard Kornmesser were sent to a nearby gas station to buy a gallon of gas. The boys noticed the approaching storm and were racing to their homes before it hit. They reached the corner of 7th Street and 17th Avenue when suddenly an entire garage roof was blown off and came right down on top of them. Everett and Bernard were killed instantly, and Virgil died later at St. Anthony's Hospital, which is still there. It's just not called St. Anthony's no more. Now it's called OSF. The family held a triple service for the boys in the home of S.O. Kornmesser at 1728 7th Street on Sunday, September 16th, with Reverend O. Garfield Beckstrand officiating. Virgil and Bernard were brothers and the sons of Mr. and Miss John Kornmesser. Everett was their cousin, and his parents were Mr. and Miss S.O. Kornmesser. Virgil and Bernard's parents shipped the boys' bodies back to Iowa with the help of some of the tornado funds donated by the city, and Everett was buried in Rockford. A blinding rain started to fall right after the funeral hit the area, and ambulance drivers had trouble getting to the boys quickly because of the rain and debris that lined the streets. They loaded all 3 of the boys into an ambulance. All of the other bodies were taken to the undertaking rooms of Fred C. Olson. I have so much respect for Fred C. Olson. Family members gathered there, anxiously waiting for some word on their missing men. Piercing cries were the notification that another man had been identified and another family's hopes shattered. Besides the 14 men killed, there were over 80 people injured that needed hospitalization. Over 360 buildings, 181 of them houses, were damaged, costing over $1 million. And this is back in 1928. There were 1,200 people left homeless, and because most of them worked in the same neighborhood where they lived, they had also lost their place of employment. These families were in dire need of assistance. The Rockford Chamber of Commerce kept busy collecting donations for the families of the men who were killed in the tornado and other families left homeless by the storm. The money just came pouring in, and the chamber was able to gather $25,000 in a very short time. Committee members from several different organizations visited over 164 families to assess their needs and determine how to fund them. Agencies including the Rockford Register newspaper were busy collecting funds as well. The Red Cross was working with the other agencies to go into the affected area and assess the property damage. Wilbur J. Adams was the director of storm relief and in charge of getting the needed supplies to the people. On Sunday, September 16th, people from all over the state came to visit Rockford to view the damage. Estimates put the number somewhere between 150,000 people who came to town on that Sunday following the tornado. They surged into the area and stopped at a local restaurant to eat. By the end of the day, most of the restaurants were running out of food. One estimate put the total served at 60,000. Some of the people were family members who came to help, and police and other rescue workers were very impressed with the crowds. There were issues with traffic, but everything stayed orderly. There was no looting or destruction caused by the visitors. That is definitely applaudable right there to them people that came just to help. There wasn't any, and it was just to help. Like, that's how it should be. You should just go there to help, not try to sit here and take advantage of people when they're down, you know. Let's not do that. Let's be better. Let's be better. The theaters in town donated half of their proceeds on different days toward the relief fund. The Palace Theater showed motion pictures of the destruction during the Path newsreel. It featured 300 feet of film highlighting the damaged areas. Rockford has always been known for stepping forward during times of need, and this crisis was a perfect example of that. Many in the community gave selflessly of either their time or money, even those who were themselves in dire straits. Fred McChesney, his last name is McChesney. It's like McChesney Park. It's spelled the same too. Fred McChesney, manager of the Rockford Airport, gave a percentage of the proceeds of his sales for transporting passengers to the relief fund. The Women's Society, headed by Jessie Stafford as its president, visited damaged homes and brought much needed supplies. The Rockford girls served donated food and drinks to the searchers and men working on the rescue efforts at the factories. Boy Scouts helped to maintain a line of safety for visitors and family members at different locations. Oh, I love that the kids got to help out too. That makes me happy. E.A. Brodeen, secretary of the local carpenters union, supported that local carpenters would be gathered to help with repairs on damaged homes. It was an incredible outpouring from everyone, and Mayor Allen was very proud that his city was able to care for its own without assistance from outside agencies. The city bounced back, and that is really weird. So the GoPro is very hot. I don't know if it's going to, the foam thing, I don't know. The foam thing, I had to take it off because my GoPro won't cool down because this thing's insulating it. There's my first downfall. It takes away the wind, but it doesn't help with overheating. Can't breathe. Anyways, so let's finish the story. The city bounced back, and even before the first night was done, plans were being made to rebuild the factories. Aid was given to the neediest families, homes were repaired, and families were reunited. Because of the tireless searching by the men and donation of equipment by various companies, everybody was recovered quickly. The families who lost their men were given extra aid to rebuild their homes. The community responded so quickly and so generously that many of the families felt grateful that they lived in such a caring community where disasters struck. And that is the end of that story. And no, we are not in the same area. We are currently at Churchill Park, which is like a hop, skip, and a jump away. But it's quiet. There's not a lot of people here. And we're just chilling at Churchill Park right now. Okay? It's kind of quiet, peaceful. Biggest thing, it's quiet, so I can record. Anyways, if you like that video, give me a thumbs up. If you would like to see more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe. And as always, I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. And I hope you have a great day. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.